Welcome to PK Glitz, home of Jammie classes. We want to thank you for joining us today and also want to remind you to visit our website so that you'll really know what's up to date, what's hot, and what's going on. And we want to remind you to be sure and get to the store where you'll find a complete line of all the products that you'll need for the classes. We've got a wonderful line of projects, cards, all kinds of things lined up for you this season. So, without further ado, let's get started. Today we're going to work on a technique called Faux Punched tin. Now we're also going to add a little faux leather or cork background to it as well. So we've got 2 or 3 techniques we're going to be playing with, and put them all together we've got a great fall card. To start out with the pierced tin, we're going to use some metal tape. We're just going to use a picture. Actually, I've taken a copy, just a copy from your copy machine of one of our premium prints. You're going to use, I found this the easiest thing to use. It's actually a little curtain hook, but it's very, very sharp on the end, and it works beautifully when we're working on the punched tin. Then you're going to need like a foam background or something to work in. So that's going to be for the pierced tin. To do the faux leather on the back, we're going to use our alcohol pens. I've chosen 4 colors today. I have an EB8, an EB5, a TN7, and a TN8 for my colors. I'm using my alcohol spritz and a cotton ball, and that's going to give us a really great look. Then for the background of the entire card, we want an overall stamp, embossing ink, anti-static powder and brush, and I'm using one of our embossing powders called Cinnabon. That's going to be my color for the background. I think that's it. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by doing our faux leather or cork background look. That's a very natural surface, so with what we're doing, I think it's going to make a great look. And we're going to achieve the look by using a cotton ball. We're going to use our alcohol spritz, and we're going to take our pens. So using the chisel end of my pen, I'm simply going to add a little color on my cotton ball, just like so. Of course, we'll recap that. Then give it a spritz and right onto our paper. And you can daub, you can smear, you can however you like to have it on there. You want to add a little bit more, just give it another spritz. That will activate a little bit more of that. And now let's go on to the other colors one at a time. I simply use my chisel because I can get more color on there each time. So we'll just chisel a little color. And then we're going to put it right on there, and then around the edges once again. Okay. Now let's choose a third color. Once again, just add a little color. Come back in, give it a little spritz. And of course it's a little darker color, so I might be just a little bit more sparing with that. But once again, just kind of give it a nice little rounded smear. Okay, then we'll choose our last one here. Just a tiny little bit of that as well, because once again it's a little darker color. Come in, smear a little of that in. There we go. You're going to be really, I think, pleased with the outcome on this. It gives a very natural look when we get through. Now that can either dry naturally, or we can take our heat tool and simply dry it out with the heat tool. I'm going to do that real quickly, and then we'll just sort of put it to the side. But I want you to see the results of the color when we get through. So of course you can do this with any color of the pens that you have. If you're working with Spectrum Noir, we have 168 colors to play with. But the brown tones really give you a nice look. Now, as an underneath layer, I think that's going to really be nice. So let's set that to the side now. The next thing we're going to do is actually punch the tin. This is such fun to do and really quite easy. Now, as I said, I took one of my PK prints, my premium prints, simply ran it through the copy machine so that I had a thinner piece of paper to work with. Once we've done that, we're going to take another piece of cardstock. And the instructions and sizes for these will actually be on the video itself. You'll find this a little bit later. But we're going to take and add our tape to this piece of cardstock. It'll just give us a little more firmness, and it also allows us to bend the edge of the tape around so that we have a more finished look with our piece. So let's take this. We're going to lay our cardstock just right in the center of that. I try to leave myself about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to kind of nip that edge a little bit so that we can fold our piece, make him look real trim and neat when we get through. This may flash on you a little bit. It's very bright, but just want to show you what we're doing here. Okay. Then we're simply going to take that corner and fold it over. Come over here, we'll do the same thing. It's just kind of dressing the corners down a little bit. Make them work a little bit better for us. And same thing here. Then we'll just fold that piece over. And the tin, the little metal tape, is stout enough that it really will hold its shape. It'll hold its place, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, once we've got that done, we just go back over, clean up some of those edges just a little bit. You could even take your brayer if you wanted to and just go over the whole thing. But I think we're looking real good there. Now, we're going to take our picture, and I try to cut my picture down just about the size that I really need it to be. The excess paper just sort of gets in our way, so we're just going to cut that to exactly what we'd like. Then to kind of help myself, I'm going to put a little bit of repositionable tape right on both sides here where I'm not going to be using my punch. Okay, that just holds it in place, so as I go around with my punch, pardon me, I don't, I'm able to keep it in one spot. Now we're going to take the little pointed end, obviously, of our piece with our mat underneath, and we're just going to start going around the picture. You want to do this about 1/8 of an inch dots in between, all the way around. Just stay on the lines of your piece and just keep on going. This really is it's the time-consuming part of it, but it's what actually gives you that great picture when we get through too. So just keep on going all the way around. Do the leaves as well, and be sure and catch every one of those little curves on that pumpkin. Your little pointed end here is very easily gone through our paper, our metal tape, and the cardstock too. So it makes this real easy work to do. That looks pretty good. Now you also can kind of take a little peek. If you've got a little light, be sure that that's coming through, or you can look on the back to see that you've gotten all of your pattern. I think that looks fine. And now we're going to go ahead and put that piece aside while we get the rest of our card ready. Your repositionable tape just comes right off very easily. We'll save that for another time. And there's our darling little pumpkin right there, ready to put on our piece. Okay? Now let's do the back of our card. Now we're going to work on doing the background portion of our card. And of course we want to do just a little bit of preparation with our antistatic powder first. So let's go ahead and cover the entire piece with our antistatic powder. We have a big background stamp that we're going to be using, and consequently we want to cover the entire area if we can. Then we're going to take our stamp, our embossing ink, and we're going to go over the entire stamp. I like to ink my stamp rather than stamp my ink because I can see what's going on. And then once I have that done, we'll take that. Be sure we're going the right direction here. Got our heads up. I'm working kind of backwards with you all. And right on top of our card, straight down. Now let it stay there long enough for the ink to actually go into the cardstock or onto the paper. There we go. And using a good embossing ink pad, you'll have more ink that goes down, so it's going to give you a much nicer look when we finish. We'll pull this off. Set that over to the side. That's going to look really nice. Now, in order for us to not have sticky on that, we're just going to flip that piece of paper over. We're going to come over to our Cinnabon embossing powder and go over the whole thing and just knock that little excess off, and there we go. If you have any few little places that might still be sticky, maybe I put my finger on there or something, we'll just brush those little bits away. That's going to look just fine. And again, pretty good tap. There we have it. Now let's heat that and show you how nice that's going to look. Once again, always warm your heat tool up just a little bit before you actually get started. And then hold it in place until it starts to turn. And once it starts to melt, then we're back to, you remember, M&M. Melt and move. When it melts, you move. And you'll just keep going over the entire piece until it's complete. And this is going to give us some really nice texture and movement on our piece. Just keep on going all the way to the end. There we go. Okay? Be sure we haven't missed a spot. Looks good to me. Now, we've got our layers. We have our underneath piece. We have our piece that's going to have kind of a faux leather look on it. We have our little pumpkin, and he's going to go right here. And then we top the whole thing off with a little bit of raffia. And that raffia gets us to this point right here. Any pattern that you'd like to choose can be really, really fun with your pierced. Simply your little curtain hook, your metal tape, all your extra additions, just add that little bit of extra fun to your card. But isn't that great for fall and kind of a nice masculine look as well? And masculine cards are sometimes hard to come by. But I think this one's really been fun. Hope you've enjoyed it, that it's got a new technique for you to put in your bag of tricks now. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you for joining our Jammie class today. Wasn't that fun? Be sure to go to the website and join our email family. As email family members, you'll receive Jammie class updates, coupons, new product information, and much, much more. We look forward to seeing you again next time.